Alright everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have another video for you in the German line. This is the Tier 6 tank destroyer, the Nashorn or Rhinoceros. So we will have a look at the tech spec. As always, we will use blitzhanger.com, which is an asset I would recommend for all of you blitzers. Check it out. Now, this is the start of the armour-less German TDs, and they are a very tough line to play. Very tough indeed. But we're going to take you through them one by one, starting with the Nashorn. Now this has no armour at all, so why don't we just max out the view range? It's going to help you, particularly if you're stuck later on in the game against heavy tanks. The speed of this tank will help you out, and if you maximise the view range you're using chocolate, it will give you a slight advantage. Now, it has 1,000 hit points, and as it's a tank destroyer, the top gun on this is essential. So before you get anything else, a suspension or engine, I would suggest that you get the top gun, the 88mm top gun, as quickly as possible. That would give you 203mm of pen on normal AP rounds, which is really good for the Tier 6. I mean, really good. You're going to pen almost everything with your normal AP rounds, and you're going to be doing 200, 220 plus damage on that. If you have a look at the other guns, you've got a 7.5mm pack gun, 88mm pack, L56, but it has much less pen on it than the top gun. We can see when we upgrade then to the top gun, which is also an 88mm pack gun, but it's 71cm length on the gun. You can see that you get a lot more penetration. You're going up to 203 penetration, and that means that your actual penetration, as opposed to theoretical penetration, is really good. Obviously you want to upgrade to the Maybach, top 8 Maybach engine and the suspension and all that, but get the gun first because it is a tank destroyer, and having the top gun on a tank destroyer is essential. It's one of the basic tenets of playing. Now, looking at the APCR round, you'll see that the pen goes up to 237. You've got 44mm of pen on HE. But going back to the APCR for a second, you may have noticed, if you look at the stats there, that you have less penetration loss over distance and higher muzzle velocity on your APCR rounds. The lack of loss of penetration over distance on the APCR rounds is unusual, and most guns don't have that. Most APCR rounds lose more penetration over distance. This does not compare to AP, so it's very important. If you need to make a long distance shot on this tank, APCR is a go-to round. If you really need to make it and want to make damn sure it goes through, use that. Supercharge is essential because it's a tank destroyer that will maximize your muzzle velocity to 1300 rounds per second. Interestingly, muzzle velocity on the APCR is 1250 without using supercharge. It goes up to 1625 meters per second when you use supercharge. So you've got massive muzzle velocity on this gun for a Tier 6. I mean, a lot of Tier 10 tanks don't have 1625 meters per second muzzle velocity, so you're talking about a really effective gun on this thing. And that's basically what it is. It's a gun on tracks. We look here, we can see it is pretty maneuverable. Concealment is not good, which hurts it as a tank destroyer, but it is a very maneuverable tank, and you're going to see that in the game quite how maneuverable it is. Now, it has zero armor, right? It's just a shell magnet. You're going to get HE spammed at you as well. So you're probably thinking, okay, so what can I do? How can I play this tank? Well, you really need to stay out of trouble, particularly in the first opening parts of the game, because you can see here, not only are you have zero armor, you're open at the top, the ammo racks are exposed, and people are just going to spam HE at you. HE doesn't bounce unless it hits you in the turret or the tracks. Then it does maybe less damage or zero damage, and you'll see in the game I actually take a HE round from an LTTB in the gun, and that actually means that there's no damage done, which is really fantastic for me, but that's really unlucky. But you kind of make your own luck. If you look here, if you look at those relative armor numbers we saw just there on the side, you may occasionally get a bounce, particularly from a lower caliber medium tank or light tank gun. You can get up over 150mm of relative armor if you angle up, but you cannot play for that because really it's just blind luck. But you may get the odd bounce, but you take them just as a bonus. You cannot play for them. In terms of tactics, well, we're going to talk about it more during the gameplay, but really what you wanted to be doing is long range sniping at this tank. 1v1 brawl, it's good too, but only if you get into that situation, if you have no choice. You do not want to be getting into brawls in this tank if possible, because you can be rammed, you can be HE'd, It's just not good. But if you do get stuck, as I do against the LTTB and against the SU in this game, you'll see that it is possible to brawl in this tank. Now, we're going to have a look at a mastery game here. It is Vineyards, and it's a supremacy map. Now, what I'm doing here to start is I am just moving towards the back of the map, and I'm not going front on. I don't want to present myself as a target, because really this tank is so vulnerable. You're going to get into all sorts of trouble if you get spotted early on. You also need your team to play for you, because your team needs to spot up the enemy for you to give you targets to use that gun. If your light tanks and your medium tanks don't spot up the enemy, don't give you shots, you're not going to do well in this tank. You can see here now our Cromwell is gone, so we've lost maybe the best eyes we have in the team, so we're going to be at a major disadvantage here for the rest of the game. We've also lost now the SU, so we're 2 tanks down, and we are not even a minute and a half into the game, so this is really bad. And even worse for me, I have a really powerful light tank, really fast maneuverable, coming up on me exposed, and he's a higher tier. But I'm just going to fire, and I'm going to move, and look at that. That movement gave me a bounce off my gun, which is basically the only place in this tank you're going to get a 0 damage bounce. It's actually a bounce that just hits the gun. You can see then he puts a HE round to him, he does massive damage. But the reload that I have in my gun, that just over 6-second reload, is just phenomenal. I'm just able to pump damage into him. We go again, he fires a HE round to him, he doesn't get a big arm for roll on me, and here I am again, going. I'm just going to try to pull into him, and now here's the maneuverability of the tank. I'm going to push by him. You see how maneuverable my tank is compared to his. Neither of us have a turret. I'm going to swing around, and I'm going to take him out, but thankfully my ally comes along and gets the kill for me. So we've actually cleared off another tank there, and one of their more dangerous tanks. Now I'm going into cover because I'm spotted up, and I'm going to see what I can do here. Now look at this shot. This is what this gun is all about. Look at that. Sorry, I said just over 6-second reload. It's actually just over 5. It's 5.3 seconds. And you can see here just how good this gun is. And this is why we also maximize the velocity in this tank. Muzzle velocity, because we want to get shots in like that. The aiming time is brilliant, and it just lets you snap off shots. The gun is really magnificent on this. But that's really all it has going for it. Again, you see here again, look at this. I can just put shots in, and now I'm in a good position to put one in on him again. 256 roll, which is really good. I'm reloaded again, and we're ready to go. But all the time, basic tactics are I'm trying to keep the enemy as far away from me as possible. I'm trying to utilize the gun as much as I can to do as much damage as I can from distance. You really want to be a long-range sniper in this tank, and then use that amazing gun. You can see the shots there that you can snap off in this thing are amazing. Now we are 3-2 down here, so I'm in a position I don't want to be in. I have to go on attack. Here I got a bounce, which I really did need. I took a massive roll from this guy. Now moving, I make him miss. And this is why moving is constantly important in this tank. It's your only defense, is moving and staying in cover. You don't have any other defense. You can't side scrape. You can't really play for bounces. You really just keep moving and try to get lucky. I can tell you one thing, you're not always going to get lucky if you keep moving, but you're not going to get lucky at all if you don't move. So please don't come back and say, listen Armour, you told me if I'm going to move I'm going to get bounces. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have the best chance of getting bounces if you move, the best chance of making them miss if you move, best chance of surviving if you move, but it's not always going to work. And in this sequence of games, when I was doing the video on the Nashorn, there are many games where I got 0 damage because you get isolated earlier on by a couple of mediums or light tanks. You just game over. There's nothing you can do. They can ram you a blow on your modules, and you're just caught down. Now I get really lucky there because I just take possibly the lowest alpha roll possible from that KV. Keeps me in the game, and I'm able to use my superior maneuverability and reload to take him out. Now it's just me against the Yag Panther. I have no idea where he is. He's a tank destroyer like me, but he is a tier 7 and he has frontal armor. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to go on cap, and I'm driving towards A. I don't know where he is, but I'm going to try to get into A. This of course will make me vulnerable because he will know where I am then, but I have no choice because they're going to hit the 800 mark pretty soon. So I'm going to lose the game anyway, so why not go for it? And this is again what I mean about playing for, or doing positive actions actually, and playing the game as it should be played sometimes gets you luck, because I'm coming up here doing what I should do to cap A, and here I find him. He is AFK, and this is fantastic for me, allows me to clear him off. I get my 4th kill. Bit of luck at the end, but I think you will agree that I kind of deserved that bit of luck after the game that I played. I mean, almost 3.6k damage. There's a Kolobonov medal in here, there's top gun, and there's high caliber. But I want to talk a little bit about this tank, and I want to give you a message which you should please take to heart. There is no shame whatsoever in not being good in this tank. This tank is extremely difficult to play, as are the Stuart Emil after it, the Rim Borsig after that, the Waffle Tractor after that, and the Gorilla. Extremely difficult tanks to play. You have no armor at all. You're very vulnerable. As you go up, you have longer reloads, particularly the Rim Borsig, it's over 15 seconds. And it's very difficult to play this tank well, and it's very difficult to carry a game that you really need your teammates to play for you. And by the way, also, let me tell you, in my clan, and also people subscribing to the channel, I can tell you there are many great players out there, players who I would consider top players in Blitz, who just are not good with this tank or the tanks after it. They just don't like it, it doesn't suit their gameplay. So if you're playing this tank, and I hope this video helps you, but if you're playing this tank and it doesn't work out for you, there's no shame in that, because this is a very tough tank to play in a very tough line. From here, tier 6 upwards, these tanks are unforgiving, and there's no shame if you struggle in this tank, right? Don't get depressed, don't think, oh, you know, I'm not good. This is not easy at all. And some people, by the way, just give up. I know many players have just said, you know what, balls to this, I'm giving up and going back to the tanks I'm good at. And there's no shame in that either, because it simply doesn't suit every playstyle. But if you decide to play it, this tank is all about the gun. So get that top gun ASAP, because that's what this gun is. This is what this tank is. It's just a gun on tracks. The 88mm gun, when it's top, is great. 203mm of pen on the AP is fantastic. 5.3 second reload is amazing. So you can pump out 200, 250 plus damage every 5 seconds. Reload gives you just such good actual damage per minute, which you saw in that game. Use supercharge to max out the muzzle velocity. You get 1300 then on the AP and 1625 on APCR meters per second, which is really amazing. And unlike most guns and most tanks, the APCR is better over distance. It doesn't lose penetration potential over distance, which is better than most guns in most tanks. This is fast and agile, both forward and backwards. You can saw there again when it's against the SU, my agility allowed me to push past his gun. And that basically movement and cover are your only real defense in this tank. You don't have anything else. So you need to play from the back, stay in cover as long as you can, because you have no armor, none at all. And you know, you can get lucky sometimes, as I did in that game, but most times you have to assume you're not going to get lucky, because you're going to be a HE magnet. HE doesn't bounce, and you're going to get penned and big alpha rolls. If you get up tiered, something like an SU can actually kill you in one shot. So keep safe, play from behind your teammates if possible. You need to be a long distance sniper. This is not an up close and personal weapon, and therefore you need a good team. You need a team to spot for you, to spot up the enemy, to keep them away from you. If your team is not good and they don't play for you, you are not going to do well in this tank in most occasions. So the music, by the way, was Bolero from Ravel, which is a great piece of music. I hope you'll enjoyed it. So I guess all remains for me to say is I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you found it useful. Cheers, Mush, and pants off.